ඉන්නේ අතබස්කා ග්ලැසියර් එකේ. එතන තමයි අර අපේ ප්‍රසිද්ධ හාමුදුරුවෝ කෙනෙක් වතුර බීලා ඒකට ගොඩක් වැරදි කමෙන්ට් දැම්මේ. ඉතින් මමත් පොඩ්ඩක් බීලා බලමු මොකද වෙන්නේ කියලා. ඉතරම් ගන්නෑ. පට්ටරයි කවුද යකෝ මේකේ වතුර පෙරසුනුයි කිව්වේ? ඊ පොන්ට ගන්න ඕනේ. මේක පට්ටරයි. සුබ දවසක් හැමෝටම. ඉතින් ගින්දරත් එක්ක එඩ්මන්ටන් ආපු එකේ අපි එක ට්‍රිප් එකක් කරගත්තා. ජැස්පර් යන ගමන්. ජැස්පර් වලට තව කිලෝමීටර් 50ක් විතර ඉක්මනට ඉඳන් තියෙන ඉතින් පොඩ්ඩක් නවත්තුවා. නවත්තලා පොඩ්ඩක් වටපිටාව පෙන්වන්න කියලා හිතුණා. මේ පාර හරියම ලස්සනයි මෙතනින් ගා. ඉතින් එනකම අම්මුවෙක් එහෙම හම්බුණා පාරම යන්න. බලමු ඉතින් අපි ජැස්පර් වලට ගිහිල්ලා. හරිම ලස්සන view එකක් තියෙනවා. ඈත පේන්නේ Glacier. දැන්වත් යනවා අපි. දැන් අපි යනවා ice field එකේ sky එක.
Emergency procedures before we leave. So we have our roof hatch out the back there. You just twist the red handle, push up. Then we have 3 emergency windows on either side of the bus. They have an orange sticker. Lift up from the bottom and push out. We also have our fire extinguisher under the front seat here, and our first aid kits are up here as well. And if your bus is equipped with seatbelts today, please use them. Other than that, we will get going. This bus doesn't have seatbelts. I just have to say it.
Go on. That's a fun thing.
Thanks and gratitude to our First Nations people as we are on their land. So where did you guys all come from today?
Yellowknife!
I can't hear you.
Yay!
Philippines! Yay!
Come on!
Did you see any animals on your way here?
Oh yeah.
No, not one animal.
We did yesterday. We did this morning, yes.
You saw a bull, man.
Yeah, we did.
Well, if you're heading towards Banff or Jasper this afternoon, that is where you find most of the animals. And that's because Banff and Jasper is in the montane region. So that ranges from 1,000 metres
No, it's a little
to
bit.
1,600 metres above sea level. And this is where you find all your elk, deer, moose, your foxes, and everyone's favourite, the bears. As we get a little bit higher in altitude, we start to lose animals. So where we left the Discovery Cinematic, we were in the sub-alpine region. And that ranges from 1,600 metres to 2,000 metres above sea level. And the animals we find around here are bighorn sheep and mountain goats. And then actually the other day one of our bus drivers seen a cougar on his walk to work. Not the ones you find at the bar, the ones that attack you. I mean, they both could. And if you look straight ahead and see where that tree line stops, up above that is the alpine region. And that ranges from 2,000 metres to however high the mountain goes. As you can tell, the conditions don't look very nice. It's a lot windier, it's a lot colder. There is little to no food for the animals to eat, so they don't really like to go up that high. But we do get the pika and the marmot that live up there. But other than that, nothing else. Has anyone been on a glacier before?
No!
First time, me too. Me too.
Me too, is it not? My God, dangerous. Did he say first time? Yeah. Why dangerous? I don't want to get down.
And for those of you that haven't seen an animal yet, if you take a look out to your left, you'll see a wild yellow cat.
Thank you very much.
Not to move too much. You might be able to see on the way down.
Why yellow cat?
I just want to remind you to make sure you take all your belongings with you. Please do not leave anything on this bus. You're going to be on bus 538. Try and remember your bus numbers just in case you do leave something behind. It's a lot easier to track it down this way. When you hop off the bus, just watch your step because it is a little bit rocky. And I hope you guys enjoy your time on the ice.
Oh yeah,
තා බස් එක යන්න ඕනේද? ඔය මකුලට බම් මේක. මම හිතේ.
इसके टायर पे कितने मॉडल मॉडल Everybody hurts someday.
You got heal. No, you. Whoever wants to say yours, feel free.
තාත්තිට මෙතන ඉඳගන්න කියන්නේ. මේක දීලා තාත්තිට මෙතන ඉඳගන්න කියන්නේ.
අයියට මෙතන ඉඳගන්න කියන්නේ.
මට නෙමෙයි ප්‍රසාට මේක ප්‍රසාට දීලා මෙතන ඉඳ ගන්න කියන්නේ.
ඇයි?
එහෙම කිව්ව වීඩියෝ සමීපේ නම්
Just you?
Testing 1 2. All right, folks. Hello and welcome. So before we get started here, very important. How's everyone doing? Me too. Thanks for asking. Is it everyone's first time on a glacier?
Yes.
Me too. Thanks for asking. So my name is Jess. I'll be your humble driver for the next hour. So try not to get too attached. I'll be driving up to the glacier. It's about a 15-minute drive. Once we arrive there, I will give you half an hour to take your photos, your videos, your TikToks, whatever you guys like to do. Once you're satisfied, I will be driving you back here. It's another 15-minute drive. Once we arrive right here, there will be another shuttle waiting for you, just like Ethan, and I'll bring you straight to the Glacier Skywalk. How does that sound?
Good.
Everyone heard me?
Yeah.
So you guys know you're going to the Skywalk after this, right?
Yes.
Perfect. So you guys don't need to ask me about the Skywalk, right? If you ask me, I swear to God. Yeah, I'll say it right now. Sure. Yeah, okay. I'll do the emergency right now. So behind me is our fire extinguisher, as well as our first aid kit. Someone forget a phone? Thanks, dude. Anybody forget their phone? Check your pockets. No? No one left their phone? Oh, crap. I'll put in the lost and found later. Dang it. I'll just finish the safety spiel first. So yes, there's a fire extinguisher behind me as well as our first aid kit. We got emergency windows on both sides of the bus. We got 2 of them on both sides, as well as the 2 emergency hatches about 75% of the way down. The main entrance and exit is the one where you came from. There's also an emergency door on the driver's side as well. It is going to be a bumpy ride, so don't forget to fasten your seatbelt.
No seat.
Now, if you have any more questions, just let me know. Again, my name is Jess. Otherwise, sit back, relax, and let's blow this popsicle stand. Let's send it.
No, it's there. I thought it's like the same, the other bus.
All right.
Hij schuift ook zo even aan.
Now, I'd like to begin my tour by breaking the ice. Get it? Break the ice. So that's the first bad joke. I promise it won't be the last. But my name is Jez. I come all the way from Guelph, Ontario, on the other side of Canada. So please, no unterrible jokes. Speaking of which, where's everybody else from? Shout it out. Let me know.
Yellowknife.
Philippines. Welcome. Scarborough. Okay, America, Philippines, Canada. Where else?
Yellowknife!
Yellowknife, also Canada. Nice, welcome.
Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka, okay, welcome. China, okay, we got a lot of people around the world. So, welcome to the Canadian Rockies. Welcome to my backyard. Wherever you come from, whether it's China, Sri Lanka, Canada, the Philippines, the United States, or anywhere else in the world, I guarantee that glaciers have a big impact in all our daily lives. In about 10 minutes, you'll be walking on an ancient glacier. So to really appreciate what you'll be standing on, I will describe what a glacier is, what it's made out of, and how it affects the area. For some of you, this might be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So let's keep an open mind and make the most of this tour. Allow me to take you on a grand adventure through ice and time. Ooh. Ah. So does anyone know what a glacier is made out of? Any guesses? No one knows what a glacier is made out of? Snow, water, ice. Yeah, that's all correct. Yeah, frozen water. So ice. Exactly. So the ice in your freezer or the ice in your cocktails is very different from glacial ice. Glacial ice, it's much denser, much stronger, strong enough to carve through mountains and create valleys. For example, the ice in your freezer is about 50% ice and 50% air. But glacial ice is only 10% air and 90% ice. Ooh. Ah. Now the process of making glacial ice is called fernification. That's with an I, not an O. And it means intense pressure and time. So it's a lot like making a snowball. The more time and pressure you put into compacting that snowball, the more air you're pressing out of it. So the harder and denser it will be, and the more it will hurt your target. For me, it was my little sister, my parents' favorite. Now, it's the same for making glacial ice, but on a much larger scale. For example, 10 feet of snowfall would make 1 foot of glacial ice. So imagine meters upon meters of snowfall through years and years of fernification. To put in perspective, it takes about 4 to 5 years to create glacial ice, and thousands of years to create glaciers. Ooh. Ah. Now, speaking of glaciers, if you look straight ahead, there's our destination, the Athabasca Glacier. This is known as an outlet glacier because it serves as an outlet to the Columbia ice field. Now, most of you probably thought you'd be walking on the Columbia ice field, and you're sort of right, sort of wrong. Allow me to describe the difference between an ice field and a glacier. So everybody, put your hand out into the shape of a bowl. Imagine the palm of your hand is a basin. Your fingers, they're like mountains surrounding it. So if I pour water into the palm of your hand, you can imagine that as glacial ice being formed. So the water in your palm is like a giant frozen lake. And that's what we call an ice field, a giant frozen lake. But after years and years of fernification and snowfall, soon some glaciers start carving through the mountains, creating valleys. So your fingers, they start to open up. Now the water flowing in between your fingers, they're like giant frozen rivers. And that's what an outlet glacier is. That's what the Athabasca is. It's a giant frozen river flowing from a giant frozen lake. Now to be considered an ice field, it must have at least 2 outlet glaciers. The Columbia ice field, like my little sister, is quite the overachiever. It has not 2, but 6 outlet glaciers, and it spans over 165 kilometers squared. Ooh. Ah. Now I hope everyone enjoyed my tour so far, because it's only downhill from here. We're about to go down the steepest unpaved road in North America.
What?
With a 32% grade. But don't worry, my Ice Explorer is more than equipped for this. Plus, you got the best driver on this side of the Mississippi. So on the way down, I'm going to be quiet so you guys can enjoy the views. If you don't have your phone out already, I do recommend pulling them out. All I ask is that you hold on tight to those phones though, alright? If you do manage to drop your phone, you can let me know by raising your hand. That way, I too can raise my hand, and we can both wave your phone goodbye forever. Otherwise, I'll see you guys at the bottom. Enjoy the world's slowest roller coaster ride. Ooh. Ah.
We can't do that. I can't reach it. Tati, just let it be.
Open the glass. Open the window.
Open it. I can't open it.
සුනාලි ඔයාට ඔන්න ඔය ග්ලාස් එක ඕපන් කරන්න පුළුවන් නම් අයියේ බලන්න පොඩ්ඩක්.
Okay, press කරන්න බෑ.
Like, stop. You're ruining the experience.
There you are. Running this way.
අමාරු මේ වින්ඩෝස් එක ගන්න මේ වින්ඩෝස් අමාරු.
See, that wasn't so bad. I only peed a little. So what we went down is called the lateral moraine. The way glaciologists can tell how large a glacier was in different periods of time is through moraines. It's a French word for piles of loose rock and dirt. It's basically anything that's been pushed, pulled, carried, or left behind by the glaciers. So lateral meaning side, that was our lateral moraine. It actually shows us how tall the glacier was when it was its largest back in 1843. Ooh. Ah. Now show of hands, just remind me, how many of you have been on a glacier before? A few of us? For those of you who didn't put your hands up, you're all a bunch of liars. That's cap. That's fake news. That's a fib. Because we're actually on the glacier right now, believe it or not. We are on what we call the ice core moraine. Basically, throughout the years, the mountains, they started to erode, and it collapsed in on itself. So some sediment fell on the side of the glacier. If you were to dig about 1 meter or 3 feet, we would hit the glacial ice. The reason why we're so high up compared to the naked glacier to our right is because this sediment, it acts like an insulator. It insulates the glacier from the sun, the wind, and the rain. Glaciologists say once the Athabasca Glacier melts away, the ice core moraine will remain years after. Now everybody wave to Ben. He's the second most handsome guy in the Columbia ice field. You guys know who number 1 is, right?
Jess.
Jess.
I would say Ethan. He's a very handsome guy. So it looks like the road got washed out because of all the rain. My Ice Explorer is not waterproof. So I'm gonna give you guys a second to put your feet up, alright? There's nothing worse than cold feet on a glacier. So bring your knees all the way up to your chest, alright? Before it's too late. I'll give you guys a second. So for those of you who put your feet up, you look pretty stupid right now. Because I lied. I lied so hard. So this puddle here was placed on purpose. It's to wash our tires. Basically, we call it the tire wash. We want to wash our tires from any sediment, any rocks, any dirt we don't want to put on the glacier because of a natural phenomenon we call the albedo effect. The albedo effect works a lot like wearing a black t-shirt on a hot summer day. Darker colors, they attract more heat, causing us to sweat more. Or in this case, making the glacier melt at a much faster rate. Now I know what you're thinking. There's already a lot of dark spots on the glacier. There's already a lot of dirt. Well, I promise that's not from us. That's actually a natural occurrence we call cryoconite. It's basically dust from the mountains or ash from wildfires. It comes in the atmosphere, it sits over top of the glacier, and it does make it melt at a much faster rate. So we can't really stop the albedo effect, but we try to make sure we don't add to the albedo effect. Now, fun fact, earlier this year, they took samples of the cryoconite from this glacier, and they actually found pieces of the Berlin Wall, as well as stardust. Ooh. Ah. Now besides the black cryoconite, what other colors can you see on the glacier? There's at least two more. Yeah, white, the black cryoconite, and
Blue.
there's one more color.
Blue.
Yeah, blue. So remember when I told you the glacier is a giant, like 90% ice? Well, since it's so dense, it's sort of like a prism. When you shine white light through a prism, a rainbow comes out the other side. Because that's what white light is. It's the colors of the rainbow. But when you shine light through the glacier, it will absorb the larger wavelengths, such as the reds. And it will reflect the shorter wavelengths, such as the blues. And that's what our eyes see, the blue. The surface is usually a little bit white, because the surface is attacked by the sun and the rain, causing air bubbles. So it's just a little less dense, but it's all glacial ice. Now, since glaciers are made out of ice is generally pretty slippery, right? So if you were to fall, it would be a lot of paperwork for me. So I recommend walking in the white areas of the glacier, trying to avoid the blue if possible. Now we're going to disembark very soon, but I only have 4 simple rules, alright? 4 rules is all I ask. Rule number 1, stay within the boundary signs. We set up some boundary signs for everyone's safety. There are many dangers across a glacier. Remember when I told you the glacier is a giant frozen river? Well, rivers are constantly moving, so is this glacier. But since the sides of the glaciers are scraping mountains, the middle, it moves much faster. Since the glacier is moving at different speeds, it causes a lot of stress. Eventually, these giant cracks begin to form. We call these cracks crevasses. They can be up to 35 meters deep and hundreds of meters long. You can see one to our left-hand side. Now, you see how the glacier is melting? Sometimes that meltwater, it will build up in certain areas, creating these giant holes. These holes are called mill wells. It's hard to tell how deep a mill well can go. Some of them go as deep as the glacier's base. So if you fell into a crevasse or a mill well, I would have to call Parks Canada, and they can probably save you. They're professionals. That's not the issue. The issue is that Parks Canada is a government agency. Have you ever been on the phone with a government agency? You might be on hold for a while. Now, this brings me to rule number 2. Stay in front of the ice explorers. Do not walk behind them. These ice explorers, they're giant buses with giant blind spots. So when I back up, I might not see you. When I back up, I definitely won't feel you. So unless you want to be a pancake, stay in front of the ice explorers. Now, rule number 3 is to be on time. It is currently 2:42 p.m. I will give you until 3:15, so about a half hour on the ice. I need everybody back here by 3:15, the latest. I've never left anyone behind, but you know, there's a first for everything. We are on Ice Explorer 538, also known as the GOAT. Coincidentally, your driver is also the GOAT. So what time does everyone need to be back by?
5:15.
What bus are we on?
5:38.
The GOAT. And who's your driver?
Jess,
Exactly.
the goat.
So once we disembark, I'm here for you guys, alright? If you have questions, maybe some concerns, even if you just want to hang out, or even need a personal photographer, I have a lot of experience taking photos on a glacier. Like I said, I am here for you guys. So this brings me to my last and final rule, rule number 4. Rule number 4 is the most important rule, but it's the one most forgotten. Rule number 4 is to have fun. Enjoy, everyone.
මේ ග්ලැසියර් එකේ එන වතුර පාර. ගර්යි නම් එනවා ඉතින්. ඉර එකක් ගෙනින්න ටිකක් අමාරුයි කියන එකට. ඉතින් මේක යනවා දිගටම. කොහොම පඳුරු. ගාක් උඩ අරගෙන පේනවා නම් සුදුවට උඩ තියෙන්නේ ස්නෝ. කොහොම තමයි. මෙන්න අපේ සෙට් එක. අපේ සෙට් එක ලස්සන දින්නකො පොඩ්ඩක්. පොඩ්ඩක් ලස්සන දින්න මෙතෙන් යන්න සයු. සෙට් එක සීතලේ ගෑයි ඉන්නවා. එච්චරම නැහැ ඉතින් අපිට නම් ඒ කියන්නේ මට නම් මම මේ සමස්තේ විදාගෙන ටී-ෂර්ට් එකක් ස්පොට් එකක් කොයි කරත් කියලා ගෙනාව මේ උන්ට කේන නයිස් දීවලා අවුරුදු ගානක් දීවලා හැදිච්ච එක. ඉතින් අපි තොත්‍ර පොඩ්ඩක් බිව්වා මේක. Yes. Yep. ඉන්නේ අතබස්කා ග්ලැසියර් එකේ. එතන තමයි අර අපේ ප්‍රසිද්ධ හාමුදුරුවෝ කෙනෙක් වතුර බීලා ඒකට ගොඩක් වැරදි කමෙන්ට් දැම්මේ. ඉතින් මමත් පොඩ්ඩක් බීලා බලමු මොකද වෙන්නේ කියලා. ඉතරම් බලන්නේ. පට්ටරයි කවුද යකෝ මේකේ වතුර පෙරසුඳුයි කිව්වේ? ඊ පුන්ට ගන්න ඕන. මේක පට්ටරයි. සෝදයක් ඉතින් මගේ උසක වගේ තියෙනවා. දැන් ඉතින් යනවා.
What's happening? So don't feel too much. I think we still have the skywalk. Oh, okay.
All right, everyone. You guys got any questions, any concerns for me? What you guys got? We learned everything we need to learn? Yeah, what's up? I feel like you get bullied a lot, man. All right. Maybe I'll ask the questions. You probably get bullied a lot, don't you? So, did anybody drink the glacier water?
Yeah.
Yeah? Uh-oh. No, I'm just kidding, folks. Let me let you in a little secret, alright? I drink about 3 liters of the glacier water every single day. I'm actually the oldest guy on this bus. We call it the fountain of youth. Now, glacier water on top of the glacier, perfectly fine. Some of the freshest, cleanest drinking water you could ever drink. But if you try to drink glacier water from a lake, such as Lake Louise, Lake Moraine, all those nice blue or green turquoise lakes, big no-no. The reason why they have that color is because of rock flour. Rock flour is just pretty much finely crushed rocks. So glaciers, like I said, are constantly moving, and they're very heavy and dense. So they'll crush the rock beneath it to very, very fine powder called rock flour. Now, since it's very fine, it sits on top of the lake and it doesn't sink to the bottom, at least not right away. So when the light shines through it, it'll absorb the larger wavelengths and reflect the shorter wavelengths, sort of like the glacier. That's why they get that green or blue color. Now, rock flour is a natural laxative. So I actually have a saying for everyone. If everyone wants to repeat it after me. If it's blue,
It's blue.
If it's blue,
it will make you poo. So, like I said, don't ever drink water from a lake. Now,
From a lake. Where?
most important question: did everybody take beautiful photos on the glacier?
Yeah.
That's most important. You gotta get that content. You know, you gotta flex on those haters. Speaking of which, where are we posting it today? Facebook, Instagram.
Everywhere.
What about TikTok? Any Gen Zs in the house?
yeah.
Well, wherever you guys post it, just don't forget to tag me. All right?
Okay.
Is that driver Jez?
Okay.
And you can use the hashtag best driver or the
Yes.
goat. I'm not picky. Now, remember when I told you I don't only have a tour on the way back? Well, I lied. I lied so hard. Let's see if you guys are paying attention. How many glaciers does the Columbia Icefield have? Yeah, 6. So we're currently on the Athabasca, second largest glacier here in the Columbia Icefield. When you head to the skywalk, on the other side of that mountain to our left is the Dome Glacier. It kind of looks like a frozen waterfall. Now, if you were to head towards Jasper tonight, just past the skywalk, is the Stepfield Glacier. So these 3 glaciers are very easy to find. They're just on Highway 93, and you can see them all in the same day, all on the same road. Now, these other 2, they're a little bit harder to find. They're actually on the other side of the ice field, all the way in British Columbia, all the way in a different province. That is the Castlegar Glacier, as well as the Columbia Glacier. Now, last but not least, my personal favorite glacier is the Saskatchewan Glacier, which is the largest glacier here in the Columbia Icefield. The best place to see it is actually on Parker's Ridge, one of my favorite hikes. So if you were heading towards Lake Louise, just 8 minutes south from the Discovery Center towards Lake Louise is Parker's Ridge. Now it's a good hike for all level of hikers. And it takes about a 1 hour to 45 minutes to hike up the ridge, and you'll get a beautiful view of the Saskatchewan Glacier. Now,
I hope you all brought your helmets because we are entering an area known as the Shooting Gallery. Now the reason we call this area the Shooting Gallery is due to a phenomenon that takes place on the top of Mount Wilcox, just off to the right hand side, known as the freeze-thaw cycle. The freeze-thaw cycle, in short, is when rainwater and snowmelt collect in the cracks and crevices of the rocks on top of Mount Wilcox. When winter rolls around, that water then freezes into ice. And does anyone know what happens to water when it freezes? Yep, that's right, it expands. It expands ever so slightly, dislodging the rocks from their positioning on top of the mountain. When it warms up and all that ice melts, the rocks are released, sent flying down the side of the mountain at speeds of up to 250 kilometers an hour. So I ask, is anyone here brave enough and willing to take one for the team? Well, I'll tell you it's not me, but have no fear because Parks Canada is here. Parks Canada will regularly survey the side of Mount Wilcox to make sure any rocks about to be dislodged are instead safely removed. We really do owe it to Parks Canada as they've got their hands full in this neck of the woods. Rock slides are very common here in the Shimavta Valley. You'll see an example of a rock slide on the left-hand side. That is a mountain called Mount Kitchener. And in the shadowy area, you'll see a gray streak of rocks. That's evidence of a rock slide that happened back in 2013 during construction on the skywalk. Just beyond that, within the trees, you'll see a whole bunch of boulders scattered about. That is evidence of a much, much larger rock slide that they believe happened 1,000 to 10,000 years ago. And they estimate that it has taken out up to 1/3 of Mount Kitchener in its wake. How do we know this? Well, the scientists told us. How did the scientists know this? It's because they are geniuses. In truth, it is very difficult to accurately date when a rock slide happened, as rocks are quite shy and almost never talk to us. Now looking straight ahead, you will see our destination for this trip. It's the Skywalk. Construction for the Skywalk began in 2012 and concluded in 2014. The Skywalk extends 35 meters out from the cliffside and hangs 280 meters over the valley floor. Is anyone here scared of heights? So everyone here is lying to me. We're gonna find out soon enough. Nowhere to run when the glass is below you. The Skywalk, however, is very secure, being fastened to the side of the cliff by 32 steel rods that go 16 meters or 56 feet deep into the side of the cliff. The Skywalk is so secure, in fact, that it can support the weight of our entire fleet of ice explorers. That's 22 ice explorers weighing 25,000.
බයි පල්ලා පේනවනේ රුපියල් ඩොලර් දෙකක් තියෙනවා ඩොලර් දෙකක් අර ඩොලර් දෙකක් අර ඩොලර් දෙකේ කාසියන්නේ අතේ පල්ලා අර පොළේ
අපොයි අපරාධි අර අතනින් බයි
No!
තියෙනවා අද හදිස්සි
Never know, man.
Nothing. Yellowknife. Food Mac. Los Angeles. Tokyo. Shanghai. Sydney. අන්න අපිට තමයි අපි ගියේ. අපි දැන් ගිහිල්ලා ආවා. දැන් අපි ආයෙ ජැස්පර් පැත්තට ගිහිල්ලා Edmonton යනවා. දැන් යන ගමන් මගේ නවත්තලා බලමු මොනවද බලන්න තියෙන්නේ කියලා. Udah inang dia wala na water. Kena paling kan. Apa yang nona demi kepala ni ke?
I'm gonna go on the tube.
Nomi.
Run!
Which side, Betty? Balagin, Mama.